Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League. This is our Sunday championship, the most popular championship that we run in the Ultimate Racing League. And I'm with the League 3 guys. Now, we have actually 5, 6 leagues. I'm starting to lose count now, we've got that many. If you want to have a look and see what's going on in the other leagues, then if you head over to our website, www.ultimateracingligue.com, then there'll be links on there to all of the other commentators' YouTube channels, so you can see all the races from the League of Champions right down to League 5, soon to be League 6, I'm told. So yeah, it's some fantastic racing to be had on a Sunday. But as I say, we're with the League 3. Now, just before I get started, I just want to give a massive shout out to our sponsors, and that's W.GG, the energy drink for gamers, and also to Eldridge Air Conditioning. We want to say a big thanks to those guys for helping us get these races out to you today. And also to Harry Poppins for saving and sharing the races, because I always say it, without them we wouldn't be able to show you, would we? So thanks to those guys. Now, just before we get into race 1, and we'll talk about the track and the race in a minute, but I'm just going to have a quick rundown of the league table. Now, this is week 3, so we have only had 2 rounds, but it doesn't hurt to get an idea of where we're headed with it all. So the top and bottom 5, so the bottom 5 in 16th at the minute is Max on 9 points. 15th is Dizzy Rip on 15 points. He's actually joined 14th actually with Thingamajig, also on 15 points. DB or Derby Cole is on 19 points, and in 12th position is Viking on 22 points. That's the bottom 5. Top 5 is in 5th is Aussie Rooster. He's on 48 points. Joint 3rd is Frowny and Too Fast. They're on 51 points each. Scotty Mick is 2nd on 66 points, but out in the lead at the minute is Harry Poppins on 71 points. So, as I say, it is only early days. There's another 8 rounds, including this one, to go. So, obviously, that can and probably will change, but it just gives you an idea of where we are at the minute. So, this week, 2 races for you. Race 1, 16 laps. We're in Brazil at Sao Paulo. And we're at the famous Interlagos, or the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, to give it its correct title, but we all know it as Interlagos. 2.67 miles and 15 turns with 2 very, very fast sections. The Reta Aposta, which is the stretch between turn 3 and 4. And then you've got the home straight, which really starts at around about turn 13. You've got 13, 14, 15, and then you're on to the start-finish straight, which we're looking at now. But it is pretty much foot down from turn 13. So we'll have a look at the track as we go around. So the guys have been out there and done some qualifying. And we'll have a look, shall we, and see who is where on the grid. And as you can see there, we've got Frowny has managed to get himself up there on pole position. Harry Poppins, league leader, currently is in 2nd. Enzo Jack is 3rd. It's Harry Poppins' teammate, so good points to be had for those guys. Scott is in 4th. Bazza is 5th. Sunes is 6th. Phaser 7th. Ozzy is 8th on the grid. Thingamajig is 9th, Molepiece is 10th, Peter 11th, and DB is 12th. So we've got 4 missing, but I do understand there was a bit of a fire in the pits during testing earlier on, and 4 of the cars were taken out of action, so that might explain what that's about. The mechanics just couldn't get those cars back onto the track, but hopefully they'll have replacement cars ready for next week. But for now, we will go with the guys we've got, shall we? And we'll get this one underway. We shall ask Brownie to... oh, here we go again. Started playing up yesterday, actually. So we'll ask Brownie to get us underway as rolling start. So as he just approaches the start-finish line, the klaxon sounds, and we are off and running towards turn 1. Now turn 1 is the start of the famous Senna S's, and we'll just see Frauner going through there now, and that's turns 1 and 2 are the Senna S's, and then you're straight into the Curva de Sol, or turn 3, and then onto the Retta Apostol. Now this is that straight where you can get slipstreaming and try and get the move done before you get to turn 4. Then you've got turn 4 and 5, which you treat pretty much as one big left-hander. And I'm just going to go down and make sure everybody's still going through. As Thingy-Majig tries to make a bit of a move on Rooster. So we'll just go back up and see. Well, Thingy-Majig, yeah. So we're just following Thingy-Majig through, chasing Aussie Rooster through into the S's now. So we're going to turns 8 and 9. This is all very technical. You're just itching to get your foot down on that accelerator, but you've got to be a little bit careful because the track is not that wide in this section. Through turn 10 they go. Now they can start to open up a little bit as they go around that hairpin turn at turn 10, up through 11, and then up to turn 12, junk out. Pretty tricky turn actually is turn 12, and then they start to climb up the hill through turns 13, 14 and 15, and this is what I was saying earlier about where you can actually get your foot down and pick up speed, ready to hit that start finish straight. And that's lap 1 completed, and Frownley still managing to stay out in front, keeping Harry Poppins behind him. Enzo Jack still there in 3rd, Scott maintaining 4th, with Bazza, Souness and Fazer coming up behind in 5th, 6th and 7th. So through the Senna S's they go again. Now Aussie Rooster now planning an attack on Fazer. We'll jump on board with Aussie Rooster as we head down towards turn 4, the first of the left-handers, and Aussie Rooster has got himself on the inside, so these guys are going to have to be a little bit careful through here. It's not the perfect line through there on the inside, but Aussie Rooster has got the job done, or it looks like he has. Fazer is fighting back though as we go up through turn 6, 7, and Fazer manages to get himself on the inside. A great move from Fazer. He wasn't going to let that P7 go, was he? But Aussie Rooster just slots in back behind him as we come up to the hairpin at turn 10 for the second time. So good recovery from Fazer. We'll just have a quick look in the mirror and we can see Thingamajig now. He is chasing Aussie Rooster down. So Aussie Rooster really wanted to get in front of Fazer, didn't he? And let Fazer fight it out with Thingamajig. But as it stands now, it's Aussie that's going to have to do some defending. It is a good track to defend on, actually. With it not being that wide, there are only really 2 clear-cut opportunities to overtake on this track, and it's the start-finish straight which the guys are on now, and then the Retta Apostol, the straight between turns 3 and 4. As Aussie Rooster gets right underneath the rear ring of Fazer. Fazer goes defensive, hits the Senna S's first, and is it still Fazer? It is still Fazer. These two having a proper fight it out. Aussie Rooster just manages to take 7th, but Fazer fights back and regains that P7 as he takes the inside line through turn 3. Fantastic racing between these two guys, and they are in P7 and 8 as Aussie Rooster has a bit of a cheeky look up the inside of Fazer, but backs out, doesn't quite fancy it, into turn 4, then into 5. So these two are going to be backing it out, I'm sure, for quite a while. We'll just drop down the order and see what's happening elsewhere as we see Pete, Aussie's teammate, in 10. Malpiece is 11th with DB down in 12th. So no positions made up yet for DB, but it is early in the race. We've got another 13 laps to go. So back up to the top. At the minute, it is Frowney, with Harry Poppins just sat behind him, and Harry Poppins just seems quite content really to just sit there behind Frowney for a little while. Enzo Jack, Harry Poppins' teammate, just trying to stay in touch really. So these 3 will be looking to break away. Scott's having none of that though, and he's staying there. So Scott's still got his eye on the podium. His teammate Bazza, he's catching him up so he can get in the slipstream of Scott. So not a lot separating the top 5 at the minute. Then there is a slight gap then back to Souness, who's well, he's a bit in no man's land really, isn't he, in P6. He can see the guys up ahead, and then he's got a little bit of a gap back to Aussie Rooster, has now finally managed to get past Phaser, but Phaser's still fighting him back. Phaser really doesn't want to give up that place, does he? He wants P7 back. As we get onto the straight between 3 and 4 now, as we head down towards turn 4, is Aussie Rooster going to go defensive, or is he going to stick to his line? I think he's going to stick to his line. Yeah, Phaser darts to the inside, so it's Phaser's turn now to have a look at the inside of Aussie Rooster as they go into turn 4. Where's he gone? Where is Aussie Rooster? We can't see. There he is. So Phaser's got the move done. Aussie has just had to slot in behind him, but now is he going to fight back as they go up to turn 6 and 7? And again, another, treat it as 2 turns. It is a big sweeping right-hander for turn 6 and 7, then into turn 8, straight into turn 9. Aussie Rooster just settling in behind Phaser again. So these two, I think, will be fighting it out all the way to the end of this race. Thingamajig, he's getting involved now. He fancies a bit of this. He's going to try and take P8 away from Aussie Rooster. So Aussie Rooster, as well as trying to get the position away from Phaser, he's got some defending to do against Thingamajig. Now, as I said earlier, this track is not that wide. Defended is, well, it's not as difficult as you think it would be, apart from when you get onto the straights. So we'll just see if Phaser or Aussie Rooster take that inside line and stay on the left. Phaser is the one on the left, but they are almost side by side as they go into turn 1 and the centre S's again. Thingamajig really just having to sit behind these two guys. There's not much he can do. There's no room. He can't get by. He's just going to have to sit and wait for these two to battle it out. Hopefully take themselves out. As Aussie, well, he's going left and right. He doesn't know which way to go to take Phaser on. We're going to stick with these guys. There's nothing really happening up at the top. So we're going to stay with Phaser and Aussie Rooster. This is fantastic racing in the early stages of this first race at Interlagos. Phaser just holding Aussie Rooster off, but Aussie Rooster, well, you can see he is going left and right. He is really getting himself in Phaser's mirrors. Now Aussie trying to get up the inside, he can't do it there. Like I said, this track is very, well, it's easy to defend and very hard to attack. As Phaser still managing to hold on to 6. Thingamajig just sitting there in 8th position. He's just watching these two fight it out. In fact, we'll jump on board with Thingamajig, shall we? As we go around turn 10, through into 11, foot down, and now we're coming up to turn 12, which is Juncal. This is a tricky turn, this is. If you go too far to the right, you're on the grass and you'll spin out. If you take too much of the curb on the left, again, that the curb will just grab hold of the car and pull it round. So it is a very tricky turn, but you want to get the power down as early as you can on the exit to get onto this long straight. And you can see Phaser defending there. He's took the defensive line. If Aussie Rooster wants this, he's going to have to go around the outside, and that's what Phaser's clearly putting out there, that if Aussie Rooster wants this, he's going to have to fight for it. And you can see Aussie Rooster is left, he's right. Phaser going for defensive again. Now then, Aussie Rooster gets into the slipstream. We've got nothing behind Thingamajig, so really he's just got he's got a front row seat for this, hasn't he? Fantastic battle in between these two guys. Phaser still holding on to P6 and forming a rolling roadblock now, really. Look at that. Aussie Rooster trying to get up the inside of Phaser. One of them's going to crack at some point, surely. Now Aussie Rooster is on the inside as they go into turn 10. Great move there, but Phaser's still sticking with him. Oh, Thingamajig's now having a look. Thingamajig is having a look at Phaser. So Aussie Rooster has managed to get into P6. Phaser's dropped into 7, and Thingamajig now senses the opportunity to try and get by Phaser as they go round turn 10. If he can just get close enough, as Phaser tries to fight Aussie Rooster to get P6 back, he might just take his eye off the ball, and Thingamajig will be in as Thingamajig darts to the inside as they go through turns 13. And Fazer has picked up a penalty, I believe. Yes, Fazer has got half a second penalty. That must have been for turn 12. Thingamajig goes to P7, and Aussie Rooster is away and running in P6, and now can concentrate on trying to catch up to the back of Scott. But great racing between these three guys. Fazer will be absolutely kicking himself. He put up such a fantastic fight in these first few laps, but then has picked up that penalty, which is not going to help him now. I believe the penalty zone is actually just after turn 12. Really awkward spot. Just as you want to be putting your foot down on the accelerator, the car's going to slow down, so you're going to lose probably a second, maybe just over a second, with a half-second penalty. So that's unlucky for Fazer. So what we're going to do is drop up to the pointy end again and see how we're getting on. And it's still frowny from Hairy Poppins. Enzo Jack just dropping off a little bit from the back of the two guys in front, not by much though. Bazza is he's into fourth now, as Scott has dropped to fifth. But the two teammates there, maybe there was a bit of a chat over the radio about team orders. But Scott now down in fifth, with Bazza up to fourth, and he's looking at the back of Enzo Jack's car, so it won't be long before he's maybe lining a move up on him. It is all happening throughout the grid, isn't it, in race one here at Interlagos. Soft tyres for everybody in the first race, no mandatory pit stop. That will come in race two, as Bazza, well, he's just sort of, I think he's just testing Enzo Jack at the minute. Just following him around, checking his lines, checking his braking points, and he'll be trying to pick out when he can make his move as he tries to get into the slipstream to just get a little bit closer. A great shot there from the drone of turns 4 and 5. Aussie Rooster still in 6th, Thingamajig 7th, Fazer is in 8th. Then we've got Molepiece down in 9th. He's got DB for company. So nobody really on their own, as Molepiece and DB go around turns 4 and 5. 8 laps already, so we're halfway through this first race. Gone very quickly, hasn't it? I need a quick swig of juice. As we're just following Molepiece around turn 9. Really tricky section of the track this is. It's like an S section of the track, but somebody squeezed it up. Not very flowing. You seem to just be braking, accelerating. You can't really seem to get going, and that's where the mistakes kick in, actually. The impatience of people just slamming on the accelerator. They get very impatient and find themselves on the grass or in the kitty litter and lap over with them. Pete, well, I'm not quite sure what's happened to Pete, but he's ended up down in 11th. So he's obviously had a bit of an issue somewhere. So that's unlucky for Pete. So he's got some catching up to do. It's damage limitation now for Pete. Needs to try and gain a few places back. Back up with your leader currently, who's led for right from the start, actually, and he's had Hairy Poppins stuck to his bumper all the way, right from the off. Now Bazza has managed to make a move on Enzo Jack, so Bazza has moved up into 3rd, so he's on a bit of a mission and pushing hard. He'll be thinking about getting up there onto the back of Hairy Poppins on the podium at the minute, but he'll want to batter that. Enzo Jack is he's going to have to fight back, isn't he? So whether Bazza made the move on the straight or Enzo made a bit of a mistake, we're not sure. Talking of mistakes, Scott serving a penalty, so something caught him out, and you can see where the penalty zone is, and you can see how that car slowed down, and the gap that's opened up between Enzo Jack and Scott now. You serve half a second, but it will cost you slightly more than that by the time you get the car going. But they're the top 5 at the minute. No real changes. Aussie Rooster in 6th, Thingamajig still in 7th. So these two now having a battle. Aussie Rooster has not had a chance to relax, has he? Since the green flag was waved, he was having a battle with Phaser, and now Phaser has just dropped off the pace a little bit, but Thingamajig has stepped up and he's piling the pressure on Aussie Rooster now. Thingamajig incidentally is covering the or doing the commentating on the League of Champions, and fantastic racing to be had there, and great comms as well, I have to say, from Thingamajig. So if you want to head over to his YouTube, Thingamajig Racing channel, and you can follow what's been happening in the League of Champions as he makes a move on Aussie Rooster. He goes all the way around the outside at turn 8. Fantastic move from Thingamajig. He's fighting up. It's a 3-way battle now. Phaser picking up another penalty, but Aussie Rooster and Thingamajig just trading positions at the minute, side by side again around turn 10. This is fantastic stuff. Great respect between the two of them. No contact yet. Phaser, he can sense a bit of an opening, but Phaser's going to have to serve a penalty. So as Thingamajig goes, oh, and Phaser, oh no, a disaster, absolute disaster. I can't believe it. Let's just go back. Now then, we'll go on board with Phaser now. He can sense there's something happening, and as we get into turn 12, Phaser just couldn't get a car slowed down, got his lines all wrong, took Thingamajig out. Aussie Rooster sort of got caught up in it, but has managed to get by. Phaser slows down to let Thingamajig through, serves his penalty. Oh, what an absolute nightmare for Phaser. Thingamajig as well will be, well, to say he'll be cussing and cursing will be an understatement, because he was having a fantastic race up to that point. He'd actually managed to take P6 away from Aussie Rooster after some brilliant battling. Phaser, I think just a little bit of frustration, I think, with Phaser kicking in, who now finds himself down in 10th. He was in the battle there. He was in there with Aussie Rooster and Thingamajig. There wasn't any room really, and Phaser finds himself on the grass and taking Thingy out as well. What a shame. But we're back up and running. Thingamajig in 7th, Aussie Rooster in 6th, and well, breathing a bit of a sigh of relief at the minute is Aussie Rooster. He's got a bit of a gap now between himself and Thingamajig. Not a massive gap, but it is a gap. So we'll just leave these guys just for a minute and see what's happening back at the top. And well, as somebody who can't breathe at the minute is Brownie. I bet the sweat is absolutely pouring off of him. He'll have the aircon on, he'll have the windows open, and yeah, he'll be sweating because Harry Poppins is all over him. And it just seems at the minute that Harry Poppins is quite happy to just sit there behind Frowny, let him do all the work. Harry Poppins picking up a nice slipstream, saving his tyres, saving his fuel. Harry just, to me, it just seems like he's just waiting. He's just waiting to make his move. Bazza's still sitting in 3rd, so these three just opening up a little gap. Enzo Jack, you can see him in the background there, not that far away, but there is a bit of a gap. Scott in 5th. He's still in touch with the guys in front, although you can just, well, it's a great shot there, you can just see the two front runners a little bit further up the track. So I don't think Scott has got enough laps left to get himself on the podium, but he can try and take P4 away from Enzo Jack. Thingamajig in 6th. He's managed to get past Aussie Rooster again, so we've missed what's happened there, and I apologise for that, but Thingamajig is now up to P6 again. Aussie Rooster in P7 with Molepiece now in P8. But Thingamajig with all the defending to do, with Aussie Rooster behind him. we've seen how good Aussie Rooster is around here, so I had a fantastic race with him actually in the 1v1. So Aussie Rooster is a great racer, but Thingamajig doing a fantastic job at the minute of keeping Aussie Rooster behind him. And what we're looking at, probably a couple of car lengths between the two of them as we go around turn 13, 14, through turn 15 where the pit entry is, onto the start finish straight as we head down towards turn 1 and the beginning of the Senna S's for the 13th time. So 4 laps to go, including this one. Thingamajig still sitting there in 6th. Aussie Rooster 7. Then we've got Maltese. He's starting to catch up to the back of these two. So Maltese may well get involved in a little bit of a battle for P6 as well. DB down in 9th. Phaser 10th. Fantastic first part of the race for Phaser as he has a look up the inside of DB at turn 4 and just about gets it done. Great move from Phaser to take P9. Again, it's damage limitation for Phaser. He just needs to try and make up a few extra spots. DB then relegated to 10th position after that move from Phaser, but I'm sure DB is going to push on and put the pressure on. And then Pete down in 11th. Put the words out then. Great livery on that car, actually. I do like the livery on that. So back up to the top then, and Frowley still out in front. He has led right from the start. Harry Poppins, it looks to me like he is starting to put the pressure on now. So we'll jump on board with Harry Poppins. He's been sat behind Frowley, well, for the last 13 laps, hasn't he? So I think he's going to start putting the pressure on now. You can see Frowley taking a bit more of a defensive line there. Oof, nearly a bit of a bumper kiss then from Harry Poppins. I think that caught him out. Now he makes his move. He's darted to the left and he's gone through, but Frowley is still there. They're side by side. Let's jump out of this, shall we, so we can see what's going on. Frowley retakes the lead as we go around this technical section of the track. The S's through turn 9, and it's Frowley from Harry Poppins again. Harry Poppins had the lead just for a few seconds. Through turn 10, the hairpin, down a bit of a hill, and you can see Harry Poppins is desperate to get by now. He really wants to make his move now. Up to turn 12, Harry Poppins gets himself on the inside, so he's now side by side as they go through turn 12, into turn 13, up the hill, through turn 14 and 15, onto the straight, and now it is just a drag race now. Harry Poppins has just got a bumper in front as Frowley now slots in behind, and the race is on to turn 1. Harry Poppins on the inside, the more defensive line. If Frowley wants this, he's got to go the long way round, but now Frowley finds himself on the inside unless Harry can cut it. Oh, Harry Poppins just slammed the door on Frowley there, and he wasn't going to let him get that inside line. Great racing from these two, but we have a change in the lead now as Harry Poppins decides it's time for him to take over, and that's exactly what he's done. But Frowley chasing him back. He's not going to give it up too easily, is he? Into turn 4 and 5 they both go. Bazza just sitting there in 3rd. He would dearly love them to, in front of him, to have a bit of a coming together, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, does it? We're just going to stick with these two just for a few turns. Harry Poppins still out in front. Frowley now in 2nd. He's the one doing the chasing. Tries to take quite a good chunk of that curb away into turn 11. Sorry, turn 9. Now they're up into turn 10, the hairpin. Then 11, and it was around about turn 12 where Harry Poppins decided to make his move. Now will Frowley do the same, but I'm not quite sure he's close enough. There's turn 12. Yeah, Frowley's just he's trying to get the power down nice and early, which you have to do at turn 12, but very easy to throw the car to the right and onto the grass. Harry Poppins will be looking to try and open a gap, and he has done. He's opened up a little bit of a gap, probably a car and a half, 2 cars length between the two of them, but that's no breathing space. Harry Poppins is going to have to be on it for this final lap. We're just going to go down the grid and see what's happening. Bazza's still sitting in 3rd and looking comfortable at the minute. Enzo Jack, well, he's in 4th. He's got Bazza's teammate Scott chasing him down as they start their final lap. Thingamajig is he's in 6th at the minute and on his own, so Thingamajig looks comfortable for 6th position. Aussie Rooster in 7th. Not under a massive amount of pressure, but he has got Molepiece and Phaser chasing him down. Phaser's made his way up into 9th and looks like he wants to take P8 away from Molepiece. He's having a bit of a look at the inside, is he, Phaser? I think Molepiece has gone defensive, so if Phaser wants this, he's going to have to go the long way round. Molepiece taking the tighter inside line into turn 4. Phaser going round the outside, just keeping it on the track. Back in behind Molepiece into P9. We're going to go back up now to our race leaders as they come up to turn 12 for the final time. Harry Poppins out in front, played an absolute blinder really. I thought he was just sitting there for most of the race, letting Frowny lead. Made his move at the on lap 14 and well, a great win for Harry Poppins. As we come up to the line, a flash of the lights, so great win for him. Frowley 2nd and Bazza 3rd. Good results for those 3 guys. They're going to be pleased with that. Enzo Jack takes 4th. Scott, he's going to cross the line in 5th. Thingamajig, he's going to take a very comfortable and very pleasing 6th position for him. So we'll just follow Thingamajig across the line. Then Aussie Rooster, fantastic battles he's had today. He takes 7th. Phaser just ahead of Molepiece to take 8th. Molepiece 9. DB across the line in 10th with Peter. Not really his race, this first one. But he'll be back for race 2, I'm sure, which will be coming up very shortly. So hopefully you can all join me for that.